It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Introducing new PANADO Pediatric Syrup 5ml sachets. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever, anytime, anywhere.
Yes, welcome back. I'm Zanzi, your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're opening up right here on S3 and opening up to some more education and something that potentially could save your life right now. Now, at the forefront of saving lives are those who dedicate their lives as first responders. So who better to learn from than those on the ground, geared up and ready to encounter medical emergencies daily. So today, we are discussing the importance of an at-home first aid kit as well as CPR with our first responder and member of the Hout Bay EMS team. It's Norbert Stolkamp in the building, and also an old friend of mine who used to study at varsity together. Brother, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. It's been a few years since we've last spoken, but
it has.
Felt like a good catch-up now, seeing you here.
It was, man. 10 years have gone by, or maybe more, and you've been doing some incredible stuff, saving lives, of course. And on top of that, we're talking about something that can save lives, and that's a home first aid kit. Why is that so important, do you think?
Well, I think what's important is that people, emergencies happen. People don't want them to happen. It's something they don't want to think about, but they do happen. They're unplanned, and so you need to. If you encounter something that's unplanned, you need to prepare for it beforehand. So having things like a dedicated space where your first aid kit lives, where the whole family knows where it is very important. And also having some training beforehand is part of that, so that you know what to put into your first aid kit. And just general things like bandages, some burn shield, odds and ends to stop the immediate kind of problem. And then also small things like knowing what numbers to call.
Okay.
A lot of people get confused. They only think about what numbers to call when the emergency arises, and that's too late. So you need to prepare for that. And
so it's kind of like that situation of you don't want to be kept in that moment of all the gear, no idea, right?
Exactly.
And obviously you've got some essentials that I would imagine, especially for an at-home kit, that you really would want to have because, like you said, emergencies and things can happen anywhere, especially at the home. You want to know what to do and how to use those products, right?
Sure.
What would you recommend putting in your kit?
So especially with young children in the house, things like PANADO, it would be useful. They have fevers, but always check with your local physician, your GP, nurse that might be helping you, what dosages are correct, how to administer it. Don't just give it as a one-stop for everything.
Yeah.
It has very specific applications. And then other odds and ends like something for a disinfectant, have some burn shield, like I mentioned. Those are all essentials that should be in your first aid kit. And if your child has got known illnesses, so like say they're asthmatic or anything, have extra pumps available, know how to administer them, and just have those things on standby, and preferably out of reach of the children. But know where it is if it's needed.
I know we were speaking about some of the methods and some of the things that we use and skills to save lives. I know obviously PANADO's range that they have is quite inclusive, and it has various options when it comes to assisting in those medical emergencies. But on top of that, you also want to have some of the skill sets to do that. One thing that's important, and we were chatting about, is CPR. Yes. And CPR, when it comes to a small adolescent, a young adult, or even a big adult, being able to have that skill, obviously, to put your hand up and serve that purpose on the day. That's a mighty confident thing and quite a blessing to have, right? Quite important, I would imagine.
It's very important. I mean, the evidence shows quite clearly that early start of CPR is what saves lives. And it's not up to the first responders, lights and sirens and everything don't save lives. It's the people pushing chest before we get there, and that are able to, and have the confidence and the ability to start compressions before the paramedics can arrive there and ambulance crew can arrive there. So be confident, do a first aid course, learn when it's appropriate, and practice it. And that's what a CPR mannequin like this is.
Yeah, maybe, look, while we have the time, and I see we've got the mannequin here, I want to put you on the spot, maybe test out your skills, see if you still know what you're doing, but at the same time, also to maybe show them, Zanzi, it's not that intimidating to learn a skill like this, especially something that can save someone's life. So when we are looking for some situation, well, I guess we're not looking for it, but if we come across a situation where CPR is necessary, what do we actually do? Maybe you can take us through a demo, showcase what it incorporates. What is CPR exactly?
So CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
Yeah.
It's a very fancy way of saying that we need to do something about the heart, we need to do something about the breathing, and we need to reverse this problem that's now occurring. But before you even get to that point, if you create a scenario, you arrive, you find your child is unresponsive in the bedroom, the first thing is to check is why is this happening?
Yeah.
So what is the hazard? What has caused the patient to be a patient? So that you don't become a victim or a patient yourself. So you want to make sure that it's safe. And then the next step would to kind of approach the patient and say, hello, is the patient awake? Are they responding to you at all? If yes, or it seems inadequate, but they seem a bit, just turn them on their side and call emergency services. If no, and you feel that there's no breathing, this is not a formal way of assessing it. As a person at home who's not medically trained, it's more your intuition. Check, are they awake? Are they breathing? If no, phone for help.
Yeah.
Phone 112. That will get you through to fire, police, ambulance service. They'll connect your call to where it needs to go. If you want to phone ambulance directly, 10177 is the Metro Emergency Services number. And activate that emergency service, because as soon as you activate, the sooner someone's on the way. What we sometimes see is people start CPR, but then they, after 10 minutes, realize no help is on the way. So you need to call for help. Then come back. And I think we'll move the mannequin onto the
so let's do that. So basically what we've gone through is the first 3 steps of CPR, right? So you've gone through your hazards, you've hello, tried to identify, and then you called for help.
Exactly.
All right, so after that process, we're going to the actual pulmonary resuscitation part of it, which is actually doing CPR and doing your compressions. How does that look?
So a lot of people always think that it's got to do with pushing on the chest and breathing for the patient, and that is one of the elements of it, but it's been changed over the recent years. Evidence has showed that people are very hesitant to start CPR. They're very hesitant to ventilate a patient, do mouth to mouth, and especially in a time like now with COVID and everything, there's lots of risks. So it's been made more basic, and it's been that you just focus on the chest compressions, because there's a lot of oxygen still within the patient that can be recirculated, and while emergency services are on the way, that can provide definitive care, you'll be able to help save a life.
Do you mind if I quickly just lose the last few seconds to see what an actual compression might look like? Maybe you can demo it to Mzansi here?
Yes, so I make sure the patient is always on the floor. If they're on the bed or in a bath or anything, get them out, put them on the floor. In the case of a child, you would only use one hand and place it in the middle of the chest. And then basically to the beat of Staying Alive, if you know that song, I'm not going to try and sing it now, but you just go at about a rate of 100 per minute, my apologies, and you'll just keep on doing that until someone can take over or the patient recovers. So that's basically where we are at, and you'll continue doing that until the condition changes and someone can take over, and hopefully emergency services will arrive sooner rather than later.
Absolutely,
to take over.
Brilliant. Norbert, thank you so much, man. A demo that could potentially save somebody's life, and this is exactly what sustains it. And for you, Mzansi, maybe a great idea, if you haven't already at home, to get yourself a home DIY kit. Of course, you've got some incredible products from PANADO that you can incorporate in that kit. But on top of that, it's also important to make sure that you educate ourselves, and especially when it comes to CPR, an incredible life-saving skill that we could all do with, and we could all brush our skills up on this. Norbert, thank you so much for encouraging and incorporating all this educational advice this morning, man.
Yeah, like I said, get hold of someone that can teach you first aid, teach you CPR. It makes all the difference, and hopefully you'll never need to use those skills.
Absolutely love it. Let's hope that we can never need to, but if it is required, we can put our hand up to obviously save somebody's life. And of course, for us now, it's a wrap up on this, but the magic does continue. We're heading back to the kitchen to fill up those bellies.
Being a parent can be challenging, but stepping out is when things get real complicated. That's why new PANADO Pediatric Syrup 5ml sachets are here to make the job easier. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever, anytime, anywhere. PANADO, a dose of care.